Hey, I'm Jay Kumar, the BassBlaster, and this is your Seafoam and Kistler rods and reels top 5 of the week in bass fishing. Number 1.
Well, I gotta start somewhere.
That's pretty much what Bassmaster Elite Series Pro Kyle Welcher said when he was done with practice at the Pasquotank River. He found exactly one fish in one spot, and that's where he planned to start on day 1. Now fast forward 4 days and he won his first Elite Series tournament. I guess he had to start somewhere, man.
The St. Croix Bassmaster Elite at the Pasquotank River belongs to Stone Cold Kyle Welcher.
Now I'm not sure if any of the guys had fished the Pasquotank area before, and the weather made the water real rough. But the bass seemed cooperative if you could find them, which at first was an issue for Kyle. I mean, all he had going was only that one bass. But then that one bass in one spot turned into 2 in that spot, and then 5 big ones. And then all of a sudden, after 3 days, he didn't even have to fish the final day to win. But of course, he did fish it, and he set the all-time winning weight differential on the Elite Series, 45 pounds, 7 ounces. Amazing.
Outstanding.
Yes, it was. Kyle was fishing dirty water for fish that were spawning mostly on the base of stumps in about 1.5 to 4 feet, so he had to use forward-facing sonar to see them. Since he was fishing in wood, he used bait casting gear. His winning bait was a Rapala Crush City Bronco bug in black and blue flake. And yep, that's another big Crush City win on the top tours. He rigged that Bronco bug on a 4/0 Gamakatsu G-Power heavy cover flip punch hook, that's a mouthful, with a peg 1/4 ounce weight, and he fished it on 22-pound Sunline shooter fluorocarbon. Electronics wise, he said for the first time in his life he got a Humminbird Coastmaster chip instead of a Lake Master. And he said that was key for finding the right stuff and for navigation because of course that river and the Albemarle Sound are tidal. Man, with that Coastmaster chip and that 45-pound lead, maybe we could say Kyle was coasting?
And you can find me coasting up and down the coast, and I run away, but I
Dang straight he was. Number 2. Uh-oh, Tokyo. Yeah, man, Godzilla's in town. Who's that? This guy. The one and only Greg Hackne who goes into tournaments like this.
Godzilla ain't got nothing on me right now.
All right. Greg, of course, has won a bunch over the years, and his latest win was last week's NPFL tournament on Lake Norman, North Carolina.
Greg Hackne is your champ of stop number 2 here at Lake Norman of the NPFL.
Now, Greg is one of several top tour pros fishing the NPFL this year because, of course, it's no forward-facing sonar allowed. And hey, you can't blame them for wanting to fish the way they've honed their skills for the last few decades. Lake Norman is known for its many docks and also for spotted bass, but it turned into a spawning derby, and Greg obviously did that better than everybody else. Now, he won by less than a pound thanks to him culling all his spots with largemouths on the final day. He had absolutely no explanation for that. They just showed up. He hadn't been to that lake in a couple decades, and he said he had no other game plan. His main 2 rigs were a shaky head for the deeper spawning spotted bass and a wacky worm for the shallower spawning largemouths. Both rigs had Strike King Finesse worms, and he also used a flip rig, a bait caster, for the largemouths on the final day. Now, he said he really believes Strike King's green pumpkin color, which is the only color he fished, is better than other green pumpkins because it's greener and clearer. With Norman's clear water, he said that was key. Well, not sure about you, but I'd say the hack is saying,
you're in trouble, 'cause I'm back for the attack.
he is back for the attack, Hack. Number 3. Did you hear about the one bass tournament on Clear Lake, California? Man, it was
Insane.
Okay, check this out. This clip almost tells the whole story.
35.50! 35.50!
Did you get that? He needed over 34 pounds to win, which sounds impossible, and he weighed 35.5 pounds. I mean, those guys were heaving dirty 30s around in that tournament like those world's strongest men pushing up those Atlas stones.
It's very much Goliath and Goliath at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Now listen to these stats. John Pearl won with 102.8 pounds over 3 days and was one of 5 guys who weighed 230-plus limits over those 2 days. Runner-up Nathan Phillips also had over 100 pounds with 101.33. And if I counted right, 23 30-plus limits were weighed over those 3 days. 23 dirty 30s.
Insane.
That's right, King of Bass. Now, does that remind you of anything? Well, I had a bunch of people reach out and wanted me to compare it to the heyday of Falcon Lake, Texas. Okay, well, here's one example. The Bassmaster Elite Series tournament on Falcon in April of 2008. Paul Elias won that deal with an insane 132 pounds, 8 ounces, which is an average of 33 pounds per day. And Terry Scroggins finished second by only 4 ounces. Plus, 10 more guys had over 100 pounds. Now, Falcon, Clear Lake, Okeechobee sometimes, other places, man, whenever a Dirty 30 Fest goes down, it's super special and
Insane.
That's so weird, man. Love it, guys. Congrats, and keep her rolling, One Bass. Number 4. All right, one of the guys who weighed 2 dirty 30s at the Clear Lake, California One Bass tournament was well-known pro Ish Monroe. Ish weighed 31 pounds the first day and 31 pounds the third and final day and ended up 6th with 88.5 pounds.
Wow, not too shabby.
That's right, ladies. And one reason it's even more wow is because even though that tournament was ultimately won by pinging a minnow, you know Ish ain't going there.
Do not go there.
Yeah, Ish is kind of like Thor. I mean, while all the other superheroes have technology and laser beams and whatnot, Thor just has his hammer and his fists. And he does pretty well. Now, Ish goes out there with his 8-foot extra heavy Daiwa rods. That's his hammer. And he either flips or frogs. That's his fists. And he just gets to wherever he's gonna get in the standings, man. That includes wins sometimes. Now, a recent case in point on this Thor hammer and fist deal is that Clear Lake One Bass tournament. Ish only flipped toolies, and his smallest bait was a 6-inch Missile Baits Destroyer. Detroit, Rock City. Okay, not that destroyer, the Missile Baits one. Now get this, his other bait was a 7-inch Mismo-ish tube in watermelon, fished on a 12-aught Gamakatsu JDM EWG Hook. Say that fast. JDM EWG. With 70-pound Daiwa Samurai braid. I mean, what? A 7-inch tube with a 12-aught hook on 70-pound braid? Sounds like Ish wasn't fishing for bass, he was fishing for
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
That's right, Sasquatch. I mean, they're in Northern Cal. Anyhow, gotta salute Ish for being in
the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Extraordinary, old chap. Number 5. You might remember JLee winning the MLF Heavy Hitters Tournament on the Kissimmee chain last year. He frogged his brains out on big mats, something he tuned up at Lake Guntersville, Alabama. And one of the deals he figured out at Guntersville was putting rattles in his frogs. Not the conventional way, but like this. As you can see, he replaced the legs with jig rattles. Here's how.
I'm sure these are pretty standard jig rattles. You want to just add a little super glue right here. Just put a little dab of super glue right there, and it's gonna just fit pretty well in there.
That's a Berkeley Swamp Lord frog, by the way. And he says at the beginning of that video that those are actually metal rattles, which are super loud, and that this mod is really only for fishing big, thick mats. So that's JLee's Frogs and Biscuits Shop custom deal number 1.
Any more biscuits?
Hey, as a matter of fact, yes. Jordan recently came out with biscuit number 2.
What about a 5 on a swamp lord, baby?
Let's go. That's one we needed.
So y'all saw that big fish on a frog. It was on this one right here, the Swamp Lord. And I customized the skirt a little bit, added a little bit of flash to it, but made it really look like a bluegill.
He spilled it after catching fish with it at the recent Okeechobee Bassmaster Elite. I believe that material is called Hairline Crystal Flash UV. That's hair, H-A-R-E, and crystal with a K. Either way, I'm sure there's more frog mods up his sleeve, and as he likes to say,
Enjoy the biscuits!
that's all I got for you this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Seafoam and Kistler. See you next week. God bless you.